Hello and welcome to another BITREP TNG. It is time for another round of Warhammer 40k 10th edition. This is late October 2023, so using the Q3 balanced data slate, as it were. Bringing it to you hot and fresh with myself, Tyler Bortel.
And it's Lucas.
And we are here to play Tyranids.
Fortnite.
We're not playing Fortnite.
God damn it, I want to play Fortnite.
Bummer. So I'm playing Tyranids. I got the Unending Swarm up against Lucas playing
Chaos Space Marines.
Let's go. Different bit of a Chaos Space Marine list than you may have seen in the previous BITREP. We're going to try out. What are we trying out?
Yeah, we're basically just parroting Liam VSL's list from London Grand Tournament.
Sweet. Let's get right into it. What's in Liam VSL's list?
There are 3 Chaos Lords. They're all undivided. We got 10 Nurgle Cultists, 2 Nurgle Rhinos, 2 squads of 5 Slaanesh Talons, 2 squads of 2 Obliterators. It's very MSU. 2 Forge Fiends, 10 5/5 Undivided Chosen. We've got Celestis. That's pretty accurate. And then we've got Mr. Scribbles and 3 Nurglings. So just tons of stuff everywhere.
And a partridge in a pear tree, no?
Exactly.
Perfect.
Exactly right.
Spicy. What do you think of this list?
I mean, it's pretty nasty. You don't need all the force multipliers to really get CSM to do damage. You lose a little bit on the top end of you can't burst down the biggest units in the game, but it still does a ton of damage. It's really fun.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing you really give up here as compared to the higher damage builds is that Overwatch threat. The ability to be like, hey, I can have full rerolls on Overwatch with exploding 5s. Very scary. Mm-hmm. So losing that is not nothing, but I think it's worth it. Sweet. I'm rocking out with the Unending Swarm. Y'all have been asking for it. Finally, it's here. Swarm BITREP. My Death Leaper. I love him so much. All right. I've got a Hive Tyrant. I've got a Turvagon. I've got a Neuro Tyrant with the +3 pile console enhancement. Adrenalized Onslaught or something. I don't know. We got Death Leaper, the man, the myth, the legend, pictured to the right. 20 Gargs, 10 Gargs, 10 Gargs, and then 20 Termagants. All those Termagants have 16 dudes with double spine fists, and then 2 dudes with strangle webs, and 2 dudes with shard carbines is what I call it. That's not what they're called. What are they called? Barb?
Shard Launcher?
Shard launchers. Yeah, that's what they're called. Got a pair of Neurolictors, a pair of Pyrovores.
Oh, yes.
I think
I have no idea.
22 Neurogaunts as a unit there. They're going to get attached to that Neuro Tyrant, a Biovore, and 3 Venom Throws. I love this list. It's so much fun. That's all I got to say about it. It's great. For those of y'all who haven't seen the Unending Swarm played just yet, the big thing to know about it is our Army Special rule, which is Blood Surge on everybody. So all the Gribblies, anytime you shoot them, if you kill 1 or more of them, I can make them move up to D6 inches. Got to end closer unit by unit. So whatever the distance is between the closest model and your model, I have to minimize that distance, basically. So it only gets funky when there's basing involved, but if there's no basing, it's basically the closest guy goes as far as you can. Everyone else scatters. Other nonsense will come up later, but that's the gist of it. It's a pile of dudes. I love it. Anyway, here is the mission we've got set up for y'all. We'll go ahead and disappear. Great. What are we playing mission-wise, Lucas? What do we got going on?
This is Crucible of Battle, Take and Hold. So Diagonal Hammer and Anvil with Take and Hold, Hold 1, Hold 2, Hold 3. And the mission, secret intel is the mission bonus, whatever the hell it's called. So basically you draw, if you're playing tactical, you draw 3 cards and keep 2 of them. So it's the same one from our previous BAYBEEEEE.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
very
should
cool.
Be nice and interesting.
Yeah.
This is particularly of note. We're getting Tyler ready for Cali Cup, which is going to use modified player place terrain loadouts with fixed mid board ruins. So we've got those fixed black ruins in the middle there, and then each of us had 2 larger L's, a set of crates, and a woods to place. So this was our first time doing player placed in a while. But just nothing really too complicated here. You keep your objectives safe. You try to set up firing lanes if you're playing shooting. You try to avoid firing lanes if you're playing anything else. Pretty basic stuff. There's not really anything complicated going on at all.
Yeah, we each have a center ruin, a corner ruin that is vaguely safe to hide on. There's a little toe on in here, so you cannot be seen while touching that objective with a model or 2. And yeah, nothing crazy other than that. Talk about your deployment here, Lucas. What's going on?
So I've got 1 unit of 2 Obliterators in Deep Strike. Everything else is on the board. I decided to just like make sure that my 2 or 3 units that were going to be screening out my backfield, namely the Blue Scribes, Cultists, and Nurglings, were going to be fairly safe from shooting, so they could just do their job and prevent Spore Mines from landing in my backfield. Every point's going to matter against the Tyranids. They want to like be a point scoring factory. So if you can deny 5 points over the course of the game on homers by just making them do it in the middle instead of in your DZ, then that's 5 more points you have toward the end of this game, which is really important. Yeah, other than that, just want to like set up to start putting on early pressure, shooting as much as possible, as fast as possible, and yeah, do it all the good stuff.
Makes sense to me. What's the thought process? I feel like you got this Forge Fiend, these 3 Nurglings way away from everything else. What's going on downtown?
That objective is, I've set it up so that if Tyler wants to hide from this Forge Fiend here, he will have to be in front of the ruin, which means that this Forge Fiend and any guns that are here will be able to shoot there as well. So if he's in front of the ruin, then he's getting shot. If he's behind the ruin, he's getting shot. And then I've also set up some counter charge, Talons and Chosen who can go charge onto that objective and take it back. So it should be hard for him to hold on to it. And, he's going to be able to deny my primary on that at least a couple times over the course of the early game. I figure that's just kind of part of what his army does. And hopefully turn 3, 4, and 5, I can start actually getting 5s on it.
Makes sense to me. Over here, we've got a whole pile of stuff. I've got another whole pile of stuff in reserve. Gaunts wise, I've got 40 dudes here, and everyone, you can't really see on the screen here, but everyone's got rubber bands on them to make the squad delineation much easier. So it's not hard for us, even though it may be a little hard for y'all. See what we can do about that in the future, maybe. So we have 20 Gaunts, 20 more Gaunts, 20 more Gaunts, 20 more Gaunts. So that's 80 on the table, 20 in strat reserve. Gargoyles wise, we've got the 20 pack is up here, ready to launch out and move block like a mother trucker if I get to go first, but also shielded pretty heavily. I don't think there was a way that you could shoot at them if you went first.
Probably not.
Yeah, because I think the Forge Fiend only got to here, and then I had pre-measured that. But so they're looking to be in a pretty good position. The Neurolictors and Deathy are like a little bit forward, but just a little, because those Chosen and a Rhino, man, if they go first, they go so far. Mm-hmm. And these 3 models are like absolutely paramount to my chances of success in this game. Mm-hmm. So we're going to try to do well to keep them. We have the Venom centralized, the Biovores behind a crate here where you can never get seen, basically. Mama and Papa, the Terracon and the Hive Tyrant right there. I've got my Neuro Tyrant and the Gaunts chilling a little bit further back, hoping to maybe use them later on to slingshot out, rapid transport maybe, reach out and do some weird tag stuff because they've got the 6-inch pile console, just get a lot of annoying shots off via the Neuro Tyrant because she's one of my only damage dealers in this list, and she's not that good at dealing damage. So try to get what we can. We've also got a Pyrovore chilling right here. He's ready to explode out immediately, so I can have a minimal commitment that still ends up with something on the objective. Mm-hmm. Cool. Let's get started. Do you want to go first or second?
I want to go first. The move block with going second against the Tyranids is pretty real, and also just I'd rather get onto the objectives early to force Tyler to do weird shit to deny the primary. The faster I can get him to like use his models, the more. I mean, he was not going to do any appreciable damage to me over the course of the game. He might kill like a few of my units. So the faster I can get him to like start interacting with me, the faster I can kill him.
Totally. Sweet. I agree. I also want to go first. Let's see who gets to go first. Dun, 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 dun.
It's the. Oh, look at those feet, baby!
Wow,
that's usually reserved for my OnlyFans.
Because of the way that this gets cropped, I don't think that'll be visible on YouTube.
That is a bummer for the people, dude. They need to see that.
Subscribe to Lucas's OnlyFans if you want to see that. Oh, it's me. I guess we already rolled the dice.
Yep.
Weird. Anyway, here come the guards. Woo!
Wow, they're doing their crazy gargoyle thing.
Yep. Gargs are within 12 of the Tyrant right here. So for freezies, they auto advance 6. So they're going to go fly straight 18. They're going to fire a couple pot shots and not do basically anything, and then move 6 inches further. And ask Lucas politely yet firmly to never leave this corner of the board.
Yeah, probably should have considered that when I was putting my crates down. But I was worried about getting shot by a Venom Cannon, but I don't think that's really that much of a concern.
If a Venom Cannon pokes out to shoot a Rhino, I lose a Hive Tyrant.
Yeah, that's very true.
But yeah, we'll see. So yeah, they're going out. And then other than that, this is actually like not, other than the gargoyles, which obviously they're a thing, it's not super obvious to me the correct way to handle this particular matchup, because man, do you have some firepower that can go down from long range. Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to basically threaten as much as Tyranids can all of the objectives here, except that I don't threaten with I could kill what you put on there. I threaten with if you try to take this objective, I can do some nonsense and maybe you won't get to take it actually. So that's going to mean up here, all these gaunts aren't even going to get on the objective. They're just going to get right next to it. So if Lucas comes and stands on it, they could suddenly jump out if I decided that was the way I wanted to go. The gaunts are going to end up running down here. They're going to flat 6 their advance because they're badasses. Up here, we're going to do a similar thing. We're going to build a little circle is what's actually going to happen. Out of the gaunts here, they roll a 5 on there or a 6 in their advance. So they're going to build a little circle for the Neurolictor to come stand in the center of so that the Neurolictor does not get charged.
I want to.
No, I refuse. And this Neurolictor covers this whole objective, so there's no way for Lucas to take that primary from me without the threat of failing his battle shock from the Neurolictor, and suddenly I get my primary anyway. We're going to do a similar thing down here where these gaunts are going to run over and tow this, and the Neurolictor is going to stand over, be within 5, so he's within 12 of the whole thing, so he can threaten that as well. The Pyrovore is going to run up and stand here. We haven't talked about secondaries yet. I'm taking Fixed. I'm taking Cleanse and Homer all day, every day. And we're going to Homer, Cleanse, I think is what's happening. Or sorry, Cleanse, Homer, rather. Which means that the Score Mine gets to do something else, which is nice because I don't need it, right? We always talk about Score Mines as a scoring factory, but often you get to use them for other things if you have other units that can do stuff. And the 6-inch aura of no ending in advance here is a really good thing to take advantage of.
I'll talk for a second while you go plug your thing in. Yes. So, Tyler just kind of accepting that I'll get to shoot a whole bunch of bullets this turn. I mean, that's kind of just like part of what my army does. And just trying to get what points he can out of this situation. So, being careful of the Chosen charge because they can definitely go pretty fast. Getting out of a Rhino, giving +3, and then advancing charge means that they can go quite a long ways in a big hurry if they're in the mid to do so. So I'm going to be pretty move blocked this turn, and Tyler will be getting all of his secondaries. So it's just going to be on me here to just slowly make my way up the table as best I can without throwing anything away.
Speaking of secondaries, are you going fixed or tactical this
I'm going tactical. Want to try to get as much mileage as I can out of the couple of kills that are in the tactical deck that you can't get with fixed. So no prisoners and overwhelming force are basically automatically 5s against this list. So I want to try to get those points, and also with secret intel giving me a third draw, and I get to discard one of them. It means that I'm much more likely to actually draw things that are achievable in the early game. So just wanted to try to get as many points out of that as I could. And also, without Abaddon on the list, I'm not actually gaining any CP except for the tactical deck. So, and the CSM strats, like I've always said, are amazing. So, just being able to discard, if I draw 3 and 2 of them are looking bad, then I'll be able to at least get a CP out of it as well.
Makes sense. Yeah. So this over here, the Spore Mine, I'm trying to figure out, this is what I was talking about. What I don't want to have happen is for these Chosen to blitz out of the Rhino, run all the way over here and kill this whole squad of Gaunts and then T-pose on that objective. That is not a problem that I have a solution for. So the solution has to be a young Spore Mine right here who is going to stand there and say, not allowed. You're not allowed to advance over here. We'll see how well that works out. But that's the thought process, at least. And there we see the Gargos doing their fire and fade. It'd move. These Warp Talons back here. Warp Talons are the scariest thing in this army to me. Like, as much as I hate Forge Fiends, Warp Talons are terrifying because they kill stuff and then they stand places. Oh, no. So I want to make sure that he cannot just hop over, advance, and charge and end up obliterating these back squads with the Talons. If he wants them to charge, they're just charging the Gargs. So the Gargs here are move blocking that, so there's nowhere for him to land if he wanted to jump over them, even if he had the movement to get there. No space. So that's the thought process there. Does it seem like a reasonable turn 1 to you?
Yeah, everything you did makes sense to me.
Yeah. I'm still, I'm still definitely in the learning stages on this list, so I'm trying to be keen on the lookout for mistakes to not make again. Anyway, so looks like you draw Assassinate, Behind, and deploy Teleport Homers. Which is, I love it. So you naturally pitch behind. What are you going to try to do this turn?
Well, I need to deploy Homer. And then other than that, I just need to get started with killing as many of these things as possible. Unfortunately, this list has less like large activations in one go than the CSM list that I'm used to with like big bricks of obliterators and stuff like that. So it's a little bit harder to like kill these units of gargoyles and termagants in one go, which can be a little bit problematic because, you know, what they want to do is, you know, survive an activation with enough models so that they can blood surge and then, you know, end up in combat with you to deny your movement. So that's going to happen a couple times this game, and it's going to be really painful for me. So I'm just like slowly making my way up the table, being cautious not to try to get caught out, you know, by any random blood surges, and also just like start establishing myself on some of these objectives. Also leave myself in positions where my couple of scoring units can always like go do things like cleanse or home or that kind of thing, or cleanse or investigate, in case I draw those on turn 2 or 3. So
you send in the Talons here, and this is where we realize is that I didn't think that hard about the Spore Mine play because the Talons just walk in and the Spore Mine has to explode. So now that has happened, you've opened up this avenue potentially, but you end up deciding to go for the more conservative plan, holding back. What's the thought process there?
Well, the Termagants have a rule where when I end a move outside within 9 inches of them, they get to move a d6. So the traditional, you know, method of I run at you in a straight line, I end up 6 inches away, I go for a 6-inch charge doesn't really work on them because they, you know, have a very good chance of being way too far away to, you know, allow that to happen. So, overall, just not really worth going for just a long bomb charge like that, especially because that's my 1 unit of 10 chosen. So if they're out there in the open, if the charge gets failed, or if you leave the models there and then I charge you and I'm out in the open, all of a sudden I'll have to take a battle shot because of that Neurolictor. And if I fail, then your whole army will just like shoot them with +1 to wound. That's really bad. So really all I'm trying to do is just take whatever pot shots I can, kill a whole bunch of Termagants, and, you know, concede that you're going to get a 10 here. There's nothing I can do about the left objectives. I might be able to put down enough firepower to kill you off the middle because Celestica's in the middle. She's OC2, outnumbering the Pyrovore. So if I can kill those 10 Gants that are in the middle of the table, that tendril, 20 Gants that are in the middle, that tendril back a little bit. I think that actually is blue squad, so nice. Yeah. If I can kill them, or at least kill them off the objective, then I've denied the 15. That'll be good enough for me. So here what I do is I shoot the gargoyles. This is the first blood surge related mistake I make. Like I was saying, like with the 5-man squads, it's a little bit iffy whether or not they can actually manage to finish off a whole squad of infantry in one go. And if the squad is partially alive, then it gets to like fall back and continue move blocking, which is really annoying. So I didn't want to leave it up to like a 5-man squad to kill the unit. And so what I do is shoot them a little bit. And then when they blood surge, unfortunately, the way I have my model set up is I'm not going to get to activate with my whole unit. So I should have just set that up better and had my whole unit like clumped in one little piece so that if Tyler blood surges into me, I still get to activate with the whole unit. And if he doesn't blood surge into me, then I get to still charge him. So definitely like a pretty big mistake for me. My Rhino is doing more harm than good here, just preventing my Chosen from being able to fight. If they were in a big brick, they would have just still killed those gargoyles.
This feels like having all your dudes basing all your other dudes feels kind of like the Endless Swarm equivalent of covering your chips for GSC. Like it's just a pattern that you're going to have to get used to if you play into this. And when you run into people who don't know to do it, it's just going to be a bummer. So here's that blood surge that Lucas was talking about right there. So these guys are in combat now. These guys are in combat right now. It was a 1 inch, so we didn't even get it on the Rhino. And the reason that you may be thinking, why do you want to be in combat with all these guys? Well, only one of them gets to activate first. Well, I get to activate first, actually, but because nobody charged. He'll get to swing with 1 unit, and then the other unit will get pulled out of combat immediately, and they don't get a charge move. So yeah, we ended up, I think, with like these three or something like that of the Talons being able to swing. And then this is the first gargoyle to die, and suddenly, Bob's your uncle, we're in business over here. This is a bummer. We haven't mentioned you fired Fortune at this the blue squad, and killed 19 of them. He's the only one left. Yes, and then you fire this dude into these guys and kill 18 of them. There's only 2 guys left.
Yep.
Bummer.
And then somewhat unsurprisingly, the 2 Nurgle Obliterators don't even have to burn their indirect. They just go after those 2 Gants and kill them.
Totally.
Nice and easy. So that's kind of what I figured. If you stay on the objective, then I'll get to charge you on a 6 with the Warp Talons. If you don't stay on the objective, then I will have killed a bunch of Gants for free.
Yep.
I'm unlikely to wipe out a lot of these squads in one go as much as I am shooting for it. So if I get multiple squads down low, only one of them will get the heal from the Turbigon. So like there's still some value to chipping these squads, and it's not exactly chipping. I'm almost wiping them out.
Yeah.
So Yeah. So only blunder this turn so far has been, not setting up to kill the gargoyles appropriately, which has been a bummer. But it is what it is. Learning mistakes are a thing. So yeah, I have blasted Tyler off the middle objective, so I'll only be getting a 10 on the primary. And I also caught myself a 3 on Homer, which is pretty poggers. And I do also have 1 Warp Talon on that bottom right objective. So Tyler will need to put something on that if he wants to deny the primary next turn. So he totally has the means to do that. That's super easy for him. But I just want him to keep committing units so I get to keep killing them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. What's your plan for this upcoming turn?
Yeah, for sure. So whenever I play this army, I find it really important to every turn take a step back and think, what do I actually have to do here? Because the macro game is really weird, and most of the macro game is keep as many of my units alive for as long as possible, right? So I want to figure out how to deny all of your primary that I can, get all of my secondary, and lose as little nonsense as possible. Everything after then is sort of an afterthought. So for example, over here, I'm going to end up with these 3 gargoyles left. Right there, not quite there, but like this line right here, that's your DZ, right? Your DZ is this. So they're going to have a really easy time getting a Homer in your deployment zone. That'll be great. This here, I see an open ship and I see an open ship, and they're right next to each other. So that's going to be a unit of gargoyles, can grab both of those at once. And suddenly you're down to 5 primary, which is what I wanted. And then the secondaries are so automatic. This guy's still standing here. This guy's still standing here. These guys are standing here. I've got score mines. Like there's 11 different ways to score my secondaries here. The only thing that I have to figure out other than that, now that I figured out how to score my points and deny all your points, is how do I not die? That's the hard part now. And this box of death is a concern, as are these warp talents. Those are my 2 biggest concerns. Because these 3 dudes go stand over here, these chosen are going to have a hell of a time getting up and down and over this crate. It's going to be great. But I really want these guys gone immediately. These guys, I would love to kill them, but I don't think there's a realistic way to do it. So I'm going to put the ball back in your court and say, hey, do you want to come out and do something, or do you want to sit back there and we can play this game forever? Because I'll just keep taking the primary away from you. So the only unit that I want to kill is this one, that's how this army works. We kill 1 unit a turn, and everything else is kind of about mitigation. So we're going to bring in a Gaunt squad back here to put shots there. We're going to have this Gaunt squad step out and put shots there. Just a couple dudes stepping out front. And then I'm even going to send the Neuro Tyrant as far forward as I can to take shots there as well. That's how much commitment it takes to kill 5 Space Marines with this army. So that'll be good.
And then one of the tech pieces you have thrown in is the Barb Gants.
Yes.
So they're going to be really instrumental here in combination with the crates to just prevent those chosen from really doing
these
anything.
Crates are saying it's going to be hard to get over here. These Gaunt say it's impossible to get over here, but hard is not impossible. And if I'm going to jump this Neuro Tyrant out here, I'm worried about the chosen eventually making it in because they do still advance and charge. So we're also going to bring in the Barb Gaunts back here, who could support here if necessary, but their hopeful goal is to be able to slow this chosen squad down even more. So they're moving 3, which is just like the height of the crate, basically. And and then they're advancing at -2. They mathematically cannot get up, over, and down. Because at most they're going 7, which is like exactly enough to do that. So like maybe 1 guy can. That would be great if we can make all that happen. So that'll be mitigate. This is like, in my mind, this is all quote unquote taken care of. Like we can deal with that all. This is still a problem though, as are these guys. So the gargoyles are going to come in here and they're going to set up some of a move block while grabbing all of these objectives. And the thought is that they're also going to pretty much prevent the chosen from getting through here too hard. That doesn't end up quite working out the way that I drew it up in my mind, because the gargoyles, only 10 dudes, are going to try to do like 3 things at once here, because they want to move block here, they want to take both objectives, and they want to move block here, just like these gargoyles did a turn ago to prevent Talons from getting in here. These gargoyles are going to prevent Talons from getting into here. Excuse me. Hiccups today, because Neurolictor, Death Leaper are 2 of my very valuable assets that I do not want them getting into, not to mention just this whole squad down here. Last thing to consider, Lucas does still have 2 Obliterators and Deep Strike. So we're going to go ahead and make sure we zone here. When this Neuro Tyrant runs up, the Neurogaunts are going to run back. We're going to do it real carefully. We end up moving them like 2 or 3 times to make sure we get this just right. But this Forge Fiend can only walk 8 inches, and then it can only shoot 36 inches. So if we're more than 44 inches direct, I guarantee you he's not shooting at me without even having to measure the angles. So we're going to be careful about that so that this guy can't blow those guys up. And then these Gaunts are going to try to kind of hide from the Forge Fiend and junt up here.
That's not a word.
Is it not? Jump and junt?
Exactly.
Okay. They're going to shunt up forward a little bit. I consider what to do with these Neurogaunts for a while. I talked about this, like this Tyrant was going to end up like over here. He's right here. He's 18 away is the moral of the story, because that's the range of his silly flamer for some reason. I'm suddenly worried that it's not. We just look that up and make sure. It's got to be 18, right?
Once again, if that's true, then this game's been invalidated.
Yeah, it's 18. Okay, cool.
God.
It's just silly that it's 18. Like,
is.
What is happening? It's so far. But yeah, so he's going to do that. Unfortunately, Lucas passed both of the battle shocks I tried to force on him this turn. Mm-hmm. If these guys had failed, I guess I don't think they were even.
No, they were outside of 12.
It was just that squad. Yeah, it wouldn't have made a difference at all because I can't put any guns on them in the first place. Yeah, and it would clear before you get
those Neurolictors are super annoying because sometimes the whole I run onto an objective and outnumber you a couple of Gants on it. Play doesn't actually work because then he battle shocks you and then you're OC0 before he scores the primary. Yeah. So those guys are really a pain.
Becomes very swingy because suddenly it's like if you make your battle shock, you're chilling, and if you don't, you're both. I get primary and you're deceased now. Yeah, like it's wild how much can hinge on
that. Happens to one of my chosen units in the next couple turns.
Yeah,
of just like, well, if I rolled a 6, then I'd be fine, but I didn't, so I'm dead.
Yeah, the combo of Neuro Tyrant to make shadows worse, Deathy to make everyone's morale checks worse, and also maybe make them more often, and the Neurolictors, right? A lot of getting actual damage mileage out of Tyrants, especially when you don't have any damage in the list in the first place, comes down to making that happen at the right times. So here comes that extra Gaunt squad. So this is the Gaunt squad right here, just popping out a little bit to get some damage image downfield. Here's the next squad. This is showing up from Strat Reserves. They're going to arrive here, and the Barb Gaunts are going to arrive here. Just trying to get some damage. I don't super know that I still love this play out of Strat Reserve. I'm not entirely sure that it accomplishes that much.
There's extra redundancy to make sure those Warp Talons die.
That's exactly why I put
the Flamer guy and the other squad don't kill them, then
yeah. So I guess I stand and buy it. Because I guess the next best play for them is to show up here and raw dog a 9 and a Forge Fiend to what end?
Doesn't do anything.
It does some stuff because it forces you to use the fallback there because otherwise he's not shooting anybody.
Couldn't I have just stayed still, shot downfield, and then had the Warp Talons charge those Gants?
But there's no one you can see downfield.
Oh, I had to move to see?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
I certainly could have set it up that way. Mm-hmm. And it more or less is at the moment, especially once those guards move. But there are more than one way to skin a cat. I don't think this is a terrible play by any stretch of the imagination. Just trying to figure out the optimization there. Score mine this time around, I think ends up going here. No,
he goes in the middle of the gargoyles.
Oh, he goes in the middle of the gargoyles. Yeah. So this is
to prevent the advance.
Yeah, live learning from my mistakes. Don't let another unit come in and blow up your spore mine in advance. Make sure that you put a spore mine in and amongst a unit of gargoyles so that he can't end a normal move within 3. So his advances will also have to end outside of 3, and thus can't end within 6. We end up managing to pick up the squad here. I think we go one Gaunt squad first, and then the Neuro Tyrant, and then they're dead. Which is great, which means you get to put all the Barb Gaunts downfield. They do a wound to a Chosen, but the Chosen are slowed. So the Barb Gaunts definitely did their job. They're very happy with their participation in the game today. Yeah. I don't know what much else is happening here.
Just shooting a whole bunch of garbage, basically. Those Warp Talons died, which was the thing you needed.
Yeah, I killed my one unit for the day.
Yeah.
We realized here that my placement was not necessarily super precise in these gargoyles. Make sure I'm actually outside of 9. They fire some shots at Selesky in order to actually get their fire and fade to trip. Be very careful, Tyranid players, that you don't accidentally set up a gargoyle-based plan and then suddenly not have anyone to shoot. They're 18-inch range, which is nice, but like you can't move after you drops up, like to get an angle to see someone. So make sure you have an angle.
Mm-hmm.
They're also like surprisingly good damage. Like just a 10 strength 5 shots is like for this army is not bad. I don't mind it at all. It does a wound to a Marine sometimes, which I quite like. Here
Awesome,
we're double checking that my screening is the way that I said it was. That definitely should have been there the whole time. Which lets the score mine. I futz around. I try. Just put it down. Just put it down, Tyler. It's not that complicated.
Don't advance. Spoiler alert, I'm going to still advance.
Yeah, this is not very well executed. As you can see, the whole move block this so they can't do that thing didn't really end up happening. So we're going to need to figure out some other way around that situation. Because that's real sketchy. Because these chosen get out 3, move 6, advance some. If they do that and then are able to charge in, like... Dunzo.
Yes. Well, getting up close and trying to do blood surge shenanigans is definitely kind of like part of this list MO. So like if I screw up at all with shooting some of these Gribbly units,
totally,
I could have those chosen end up in combat and then like on their go turn they kill like 2 remaining gargoyles, which would be super bad.
I'd love it.
So it's really scary. Well, luckily it doesn't happen this coming turn. This is the one turn where I don't screw it up.
Yeah, this right here is a masterclass in not getting blood surge. You do some excellent stuff this turn.
I got lucky was what happened. It's very, you know what? I could have set it up even better though, because I could have just like put Celeste in a spot where if you blood surge, she would have had to get in combat with her, and then she could have just like flamed you, regardless of whether or not you're in combat with the chosen, because she's a monster.
1 CP blood surge toward the objective instead of the closest, and then I can still get in combat with anyone I want.
How does that work?
So for 1 CP, after you kill a model, when I get to reroll my blood surge dice, first of all, and second of all, when I make the move, instead of the unit having to end as close as possible to the closest unit, it is the unit has to end as close as possible to the closest objective to the unit.
Ah, okay.
So if you want to do that play, you have to also make sure you cover a chip or something, or like in this case, obviously,
I want to try to get in.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. It's a mess.
It didn't happen. Yay. Blood surges. Anyway, cool. So I got a 5. 5 is definitely not ideal, but you know what? I'm gonna get to kill some stuff here. That's what really matters at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing in my obliterators, ready to shoot some people. And the nice thing is these Nurgle guys didn't. Oh no, they're no, you know what it was? The Nurgle guys did use their indirect on turn 1. They shot the Venom Throats and killed 2 of them.
Oh yeah, they did.
And then that Rhino killed the 2 remaining Gants.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That was annoying. I'm glad you didn't kill all 3 though. That would have been real bad.
Yes, it would have been
I
very
need
bad.
to stop letting you shoot indirect.
You need to do no such
Venoms.
thing. So the nice thing is the Nurgle Bloodeds are going to get to shoot directly into a unit of Gants here, which is pretty cool. And then the Undivided guys will get to burn their indirect from a safe place and shoot some other unit somewhere.
Cool. So here we are patching our mistakes. Lucas runs his chosen forward, and I reactively move Skulking Horror, whatever the termagants. They get to run 5 inches on their D6. And that happens before the Deep Strike actually happens. So then Lucas has to readjust the obliterators accordingly. And now we're safe. Thanks, Termagants.
All planned.
Exactly as planned. And the Rhino hits a big enough advance to cover the chip while getting outside of that 6 inches of the Spore Mine. That was a scary moment there. He rolls
Plague
like
Marine inside there is just like revving the engine, like dodging around all the wings, trying to not land close enough to the weird testicle that he can't step on the gas pedal for some reason.
It's a minefield, dude. You gotta be careful.
Your rules are just so fake, honestly. Just the dumbest rules ever.
When I say that this is the mono control army that I've always wanted, that GW finally gave to us, I am not kidding. It does one thing, and it does it really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What else are you doing?
We're continuing to...
What are you drawing cards-wise?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. I'm so glad you asked. I draw Capture Enemy Outpost, Engage on All Fronts, and Storm Hostile. So, of my 6 cards I draw in the first 2 turns, I will get a grand total of 8 points, which is definitely not no, not really what the doctor ordered, but whatever. We're just gonna shoot, and we're just gonna kill Tyler. There we go. I'm gonna kill you, Tyler. You're gonna die.
Well, we'll see about that.
Thoughts on that?
Also, by the way, that one surviving termagant right here got like 5 friends back. So there's 6 dudes in blue squad now, which is pretty cool.
That's how it's made up.
Probably.
I think. Do I shoot and kill that squad with the? I think I shoot and kill that squad with the.
You pop your indirect for it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like, because I have lots of kills lined up on like big units right here, so I'm just trying to get as many units out of the way as possible, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So like the 20 gargoyle remnant unit up here will die. The 10 gargoyles ideally here will die. The green squad that's right here of termagants is going to die. And then I'll just put as many shots here from obliterators and forge fiends as possible. I had the choice of whether or not I wanted to work on the neuro tyrant. Killing him before shadows get swapped can be actually pretty big. Mm-hmm. And that unit is really annoying for just like tying a ton of stuff up for cheap. And it's also the annoying flamer. So there was a bunch of good reasons to kill it, but I figured it wasn't worth it at the end of the day. I'd much rather kill the units Tyler's using to like move block me and score the points. So hopefully, maybe the secondaries will become a little bit more challenging to score toward the end of the game, which sort of happens. Not really, but
yeah, for sure.
I am going to kill a bunch of units here.
Yes.
I'll only be able to bring back like one of them. So that's nice.
You'll never guess which one.
I will guess correctly.
Was there an argument to just not charging them?
Those gargoyles?
Yeah.
I mean, no. Because like they're going to die at some point anyway, and they're going to get to do their thing when they do. Mm-hmm. I figured this was like the safest turn to do it because A, it forces you to spend 2 CP. B, you can't use it to steal this objective unless you just launch a 9-inch charge, which you can do at any particular point in time. Mm-hmm. And if when they come back, they're going to either be going down here for that 9-inch charge, or they'll just be going right back here and move blocking me again. So like killing them gets me out of the rhino, gets me moving toward the objective, gets a unit kill, and also like forces you to spend CP. So like, yeah, I figured it's worth
for sure. No, I think you're right.
So just lighting up with the absolute litany of units I have in this army, just ridiculous number of guys. So I think the Forge Fiend shot in and killed most of the silver squad. The squad that was poking out here is now down to just like 7 survivors back here. We continue opening up. The undivided guys shoot their indirect into that blue squad remnant and kill them. I think that was the reroll hits and wounds was used on the Forge Fiend. And then Nurgle squad shot these guys first because they had the only direct shots, which opens up the undivided Forge Fiend to shoot someone. I forget who he shoots, but lots of bullets are going downfield is the end of the story. Here, the Barb Gants take a bunch of fire from the random Nurgle Rhino. Firing deck is a funny rule when you have exploding 5s, because you can just randomly get a bunch of, I rolled really well, but you can just do a bunch of anti-infantry mortals with because there's like, I think there's 2 combi plasmas on the Rhino and then 2 shooting from inside. So you get like 4 combi plasmas. That's 4 or 8 shots with exploding 5s. You can randomly spike into a bunch of mortals. It's pretty cool. And then obviously the chosen squads that are outside the Rhino get to shoot as well. So I end up killing 4 of those Barb Gants, which was silly. And then very close run affair here. I end up using the chosen. I use a free reroll hits and wounds on them to just shoot all their weapons into those gargoyles and kill them. Tyler does an LFR to try to survive, which would have been big. Would have been super clutch if it worked. But just kill them. I think
10 on the nose.
I didn't shoot the bolt guns, but like it could have totally worked out.
Totally, yeah.
And then Celeste kills that spore mine. So yeah, at this point, because of the pyrovore that's in the wall, like underneath the wall here, it's going to be very hard for me to go around and get into the characters, which is what I really want. But I am just going to hit the pyrovore and those guys and just get rid of them, which is nice. So I've killed a whole lot of gaunts this turn, which is great.
Yeah, this is the turn where I definitely start feeling like, oh man, this is not looking good.
Yeah,
I am running very thin on resources
because I got like 15 Gants up here, 15-ish here. That's 30. I'm going to kill these 20 that are here. That's 50. Polish off these last 3 gargoyles. So yeah, just a whole bunch of damage. And you already lost 20 Gants at the start of the turn, or start of the game on turn 1. So you're almost out of Gants, although you still have your Neurogants and the gargoyles will come back. You still have 10 of the reserve as well. So you'll have 30 gargoyles. So you have a bunch of stuff, but just like the meat and potatoes damage dealers, those termagants they're running out really quickly.
Yeah, and this chosen squad is going to require immediate attention. I can no longer dance around them and try to just sort of move block and whatnot. They are T-posed on the center objective 6 inches from my castle. They have to die right now. So we'll see if I can put enough nonsense together to kill a squad of chosen. Which honestly, I was not sure if I would be able to. The
battle shock definitely helped.
Yes.
Getting +1 to wound on all the random gribbly shots is pretty big.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, overall, I did a bunch of damage. Didn't score that many points though. I got 5 on Storm Hostile, held Tyler to a 10, which would have loved to deny some more primary, but just doing the best I can at the end of the day. What's your plan going into this turn 3?
Yeah, for sure.
You got some more Gants back in Silver Squad, which is pretty cool.
Got Turbogon on Mama brings back some friends, which is nice. I threw my Neuraloids on this single dude and this like 5 or 6 man Gaunt squad, and both of them failed their morale checks anyway.
Amazing.
Exceptionally disrespectful. But most importantly, the neuro Lictor hits you with your morale check and you fail. Which is big because that means that like kill this unit is suddenly actually a feasible thing that we can do.
Yeah, I can't use my free AOC either, which is huge.
Yeah, no free AOC, no interrupt, +1 to wound for my whole army. Like that's a big roll right there.
Yes.
And because it's not in his morale step, it's in my command phase. He can't auto pass it. So like, what is he gonna do? So we're gonna try to full send here. Lucas has covered both of these chips, so getting either of those objectives out is going to be kind of complicated. For those of y'all who just saw the other bit rep that we did of GSC versus CSM, I think you know what time it is. It's time for
the 3 9-inch charges, baby.
Let's go. Let's go take that objective that way. But the big thing is we are full committing right here. We are gonna throw the kitchen sink at this unit in the hopes that we can take him down. Now that the Neuro Tyrant and friends are out and ready to play, they're going to try to jump forward, do some damage here, try to get some tags going on over here. If we can end up with these obliterators not getting to shoot, especially if we can tag both squads so only one of them can fall back, shoot, and charge, that would be big money. So we'll see what we can do about that. These Gaunts failing the morale sucks, so they're just going to sprint out here and build a wall. This Neuralink is going to run for his damn life because those chosen are very scary.
Not chosen.
Actually, does he run for his life? Or does he stand there for a turn?
He stays there for
He stays because I'm just going to move block you. Yeah, he doesn't need to run
with
for
the
his
Barb
life.
Gant and the move block. It's pretty impossible for me to get by you.
Yeah, for sure. That one bar, like you did slaughter those 4 Barb Gaunts with what felt like nothing, which was annoying. But one guy sticking around is real big for me because I only need one to slow you down. So that's what's going to happen there. But yeah, here comes the kitchen sink. The Neurolictor's running over. Deathy's running over. I do still have to do my secondaries, unfortunately. So like the Neurolictor can't actually charge here. He's going to deploy a teleport homer. This Neurolictor, the reason he's staying here is that he can cleanse because I can't stand on this. So I can't even if I take it, I can't cleanse it because I can't get anyone on there without like I could have like auto advanced 6'd this unit on there or something, but then they're not charging like. And then they're not shooting, like 0% chance of doing that. So we're just going to take 2 points off our secondary on cleanse. Good job, Lucas. We're not getting our 20 cleanse points. And focus on the rest of the nonsense. Focus on just killing this unit. So yeah, the Tyrant jumps on out. The singular Venom Throw hobbles on through the wall. Mama just takes a step back here. We're trying not to get blown up too hard down this direction. The Fortrine did shoot at Mama last turn and didn't do a ton, but did enough. Is totally within a dice spike of killing her at any moment. So I got to respect that at least a little bit. So we'll see. We shall see. Hopefully, we just hit both of these 9-inch charges again with the 10-man that's coming in and the 20-man that's coming back in, because, of course, we spent the 2 CP one. Those 3 guys up here died to get the whole unit back. They both make it, and we just lock this up. And even with the heroic, there's nothing you can do. That's my objective. Your super move blocked, and we feel great about ourselves. That's what's going to happen, right?
Definitely.
It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, that's exactly what's
Calling right here. Fortunately, because Lucas's Blitz have now dropped, I can abandon these silly corners, which is really nice. I think there was an argument for like holding them for a turn.
Yeah, maybe like force you to stand in weird places.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't have done all that damage and like gotten rid of your big units as well without those two guys.
For sure, they definitely helped.
I guess they just shot into blue squad.
Yeah, they just picked up 6 gaunts, which I mean, it's 6 gaunts that could very easily then do that screening in the first place. So maybe it's a wash, but like, just an interesting thing to consider if you're playing against the swarm. Once you do enough damage, they can actually start to have trouble screening corners and stuff.
Yeah. Because they don't really want to stand in their backfield. They want to keep like hemming you in.
Yeah. Like the sensible move in my mind is, this guy has to run over here to screen, but then he's not doing the thing over here. Like you'd have to cut a really, anyway, not the point. So we'll see. I'm going to actually fire some guns. Here's the Pyrovore. My Pyrovore walks in from Strat Reserve, and Lucas has dudes under here, so he's within 12. Takes away their cover, which is real big for the Hive Tyrant who's about to shoot him, because he's only AP 2. So Lucas being unable to AOC and having his cover strip means he goes from like normally against a Hive Tyrant saving on like 3s if he wants to saving on 5s. Which when I shoot at 10 dudes with a D3 blast gun that's hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s, feels real good to make him fail a bunch of saves. We're going to put a couple gargoyles in there as well, do a little bit of chip damage. Every single shot counts here because I need this squad gone. Selesky's going to get to do her thing. There's just we're never killing her. Certainly not twice.
Yeah, she was great.
Yes, she just gets to run around.
Soleskers.
Yeah. Cool. Where do I end up dropping the Spore Mine? I think I ended up putting the Spore Mine like here to stop this advance or something. I don't know where it ends up.
That sounds right. Or maybe like, somewhere near that top left objective.
Yeah.
This is just more delaying tactics, basically.
Yeah. All we can do at this point is slow things down. As you can see, we're winnowing away that squad, getting through dudes. In comes Deathy. Deathy decides to just charge up and stand and stare menacingly. That was the coolest, most cinematic thing I've had happen in a game of Warhammer in a minute. Just jumping off the top of a building to go eat some Chaos Space Marines. Tyrant goes in. The Venom Thrope goes in and clears way to fit a Neurogaunt in. Speaking of which, the Neurogaunt's charged. They get a good charge. 9 is very nice. And now we have to play 10th edition for a minute. Love this game, where I get to see how far around I can sling my Neuro Tyrant such that he can be a coherency piece, essentially, to get my Gaunts to hopefully swing in and tag the Obliterators. So from this position, what's going to happen is these guys are going to pile this way. They pile Console 6, such that they end up closer to this than they started, but closer to this than they are to this once they end. So I get the Console over here. The Neuro Tyrant is going to end up right here, being 2 within 2 there. And then the rest of this can string back pretty much normally. It doesn't allow me to tag both squads, but it allows me to tag a squad, which is a lot better than nothing. Mm-hmm. Because this upcoming turn is definitely going to be my Shadow's turn, right? This is Lucas's his chance to try to break my back. He's standing on a bunch of objectives. And if I can get him to fail that morale check in particular, he won't be able to fall back, like shoot and charge. And if he does fall back, he'll be taking funny tests. So good things all around. We'll see what ends up happening. Yeah. Just swinging in a bunch of attacks here. Deathy goes for the precision and goes after that Lord to try to take him out because that guy hits like a mother trucker. And if I can remove him from the equation, my life gets so much easier. Mm-hmm. But he is unfortunately unable to do so. I leave him at 1 wound, and then after everyone else swings, you have what, like 1 dude at a wound as well? Mm-hmm. So that squad's barely hanging in there, but refusing to go down so easily. Here I am doing all that measurement to do all this 10th editioning for a minute here. Love the fight phase. To make sure that this can actually work. Admittedly, at this point, it's the same as 9th would have been, but the charge to get me the first part there was the complicated bit. Lucas, I think you pulling this guy makes my life a lot easier. Though I think he may have been the wounded guy, was why I was comfortable going for this. Because, now it's way easier to end up closer and closer and all that nonsense. Yep. Cool. And here we come. Here come the Neurogauns. They're going to try their best to whittle that 1 wound off that 1 dude. They're +1 to hit and +1 to wound because of the Neuro Tyrant in your battle shock. They're actually +2 to wound. Not that does anything. But
Pog.
Just fun fact. No, they're not going to do anything, of course. They're Neurogauns. They don't do anything. So that one, so we have 2 1 wound idiots chilling over there. Which, yeah, I'll take it. I think they end up swinging back. And does the Lord? What do you do?
He goes after the Tyrant because they really want to get rid of that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, the free strats just coming at the wazoo. Just want to limit that going into the late game here. So if I can put a couple wounds on the Lord, it might mean that a Forge Fiend can pick him up next turn. So, and then the one remaining guy with the Curse of Weapons goes after the Venom Throat with the hope, just hoping to kill that guy. So that, again, I can shoot out all these units without -1 to hit next turn, which would be nice.
For sure.
Unfortunately, don't manage to kill the Venom Throat, but I do put 6 wounds on the Tyrant, which is really good.
Yeah. Thanks.
So yeah, going into my turn here.
We, if it weren't clear, we failed both of these 9-inch charges. We're stuck. All right, what are we doing, Lucas?
Get fucked. We got some shadows checks. You can see me going through, pointing to each unit in turn. Overall here, not a ton of impact. Both of my units here make their checks.
No,
so
the Rhino
that's
fails.
The
Rhino fails.
Or one of them,
Yeah,
one of them passes. So I have got the primary. What really mattered was these chosen failed, Celeste failed, and the obliterators that were in combat failed, so they can't fall back, shoot, and charge. Everything else either like failed with no consequence or pass. So here I'm just going to try to do as much damage as I can, really. The gargoyle situation at the bottom of the table, I don't really know how to approach that because like I think what I'm going to end up doing is just run the warp talons out and stand in front and accept that if you want a blood surge, I'll have killed most of the squad and you'll surge a wounded squad in a combat and then I'll just kill them. If I can just get rid of that squad again. I don't know if you have 2 CP right now. I think you do.
Yep.
So they'll be back, but again, it like forces those CP and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and also means that they're going to be 3 inches away from you instead of 24 inches away from where they are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because if this squad were untouched, they're on your home field next turn. Oh, what a silly unit!
What a dumb unit. Yeah. So my secondaries this turn are extend battle line, secure no man's land, bring it down. So finally, some secondaries that I can score with relative ease. All I need to do is like get on 2 midfields, and it's basically good to go. And then, so all I really do is park that bottom right Forge Fiend on that objective, and then the Chosen will charge those Gants and kill them. So that'll be 10 on secondaries, and then it's just killing as many of these units as humanly possible. So ideally, these Termagants will die. That's basically a shoo-in. My plan for, let me actually do that quickly. My plan for these guys, like I said, is just shoot them with the Forge Fiend and then clean up whatever's left with the Warp Talons that are behind that wall. The Rhino will just, charge something. I don't know. It's going to do silly shit. These Chosen here fall back. Unfortunately, one of the guys fails his Desperate Escape, which means they're no longer Chosen, so they can't fall back, shoot, and charge. With the Chosen rule, which would have been huge because that Lord going in to charge this turn would have meant probably one of those 2 characters would have died there, which would have been huge. And then we'll try to get our Chosen in on the Neuro Tyrant squad and just hit them as hard as possible. These Obliterators decide to stay in combat because I don't want to risk some of them dying when they fall back, shoot, and charge. That might have been a mistake, but I feel like shooting at those Gant squad would have been bad anyway because they would have survived and then blood surged and tied up my entire army. So just figured I would have stayed in combat so that, that unit is just basically going to sit there until it comes time to charge. So
clarification for those y'all watching at home. There is a monster in this unit. So they are a monster unit. So he could shoot them while they're in combat.
Yes.
But the same problem applies because the moment I pull these 2 dudes, I'm not in combat anymore. I can blood surge again and then things get messy.
Mm-hmm.
Because the closest unit is going to be one of these idiots over here. And I can bop into combat with probably the Lord, frankly, and then suddenly, and you're not getting a charge on me anymore. Scary possibilities. That would even be a great use of the 1 CP strat. I just go toward this objective, like no inches, and this guy runs away. Anyway.
So just trying to clean up some remnants here. We're trying to get rid of that Barb Gant.
He's gone.
Getting rid of him. What else do we have?
I think it was about this time in the show that we were... we already remembered that those guys got slowed. Yeah, never mind.
We popped them up a little bit.
Yeah.
And the blue scribbles getting in my way, unfortunately, because I try to get greedy and go for like weird mortals when it was like basically didn't do anything. So that was probably pretty stupid of me to just get in the way like that. And the Chosen here charging the Neurotyrant squad. You know, I think if they all get to fight, I should probably kill the squad. But like I've been saying this whole time, you know, 5 guys plus character or 5 warp talents it's just on the edge of being able to kill 20 models. So a little bit concerned about, you know, under allocating to this unit. I really want to get rid of them. So I figure let's go for like a longer charge and try to get everyone into combat. And unfortunately, I roll a 4 into a 3, which means that Lord who's stuck on top of that stupid crate. Wow, that crate really cucked me this game. I should not have placed that right there. Prevents one of the Chosen and the Lord from being able to fight. So I'm only going to be able to kill the squad of Gants, and I'll do some damage to the Tyrant. So she'll get to stick around for another turn, which doesn't end up mattering a ton, but it's just like extra annoying to have to deal with something else.
How much do you love playing Roller Coaster Tycoon?
What is Roller Coaster Tycoon?
Player placed.
I don't. It's terrible. Yeah. So I think we are in the throes of a blood surge here from the Forge Fiend.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the right way to pull casualties to do this, because there's 2 options in my mind here. I can either pull the back guys and jump forward into combat and try to save the second squad, or I can pull the front guys, spend the CP, and jump backwards and try to save that squad. And I realized that if I jump backwards, I lose the 10-man, whereas if I jump forward, I lose the 20-man, and the 10-man is better positioned anyway. The 20-man is a 10-man because you killed half of them anyway. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather get them back. So they'd go forward. I roll a 6, which is sick, and they jump forward and they tag everybody, and everybody's based. So none of these guys will get to fight anyone other than that big 20-man blob. They engage this guy as well. Lucas ends up charging this Rhino in here as well after a second. So that we're not able to like steal any primary out of this. He's going to kill the whole squad anyway, so it's not going to make a difference. But that squad's going down, but that 10-man Garg is alive and well. Well, they're about to get tagged, obviously, because you're going to console, but they're alive. And falling back 12 with fly is plenty for me.
The series of things that happened to this 5-man Warp Talon squad is just still, I don't even want to think about it. Like, 2.5 of them end up dying to the gargoyle punches.
Let's go.
And then 1 guy dies to the pyrovore.
1.5 guys.
And then I fall back, and then the remaining guys die to a spore mine. Like, casual, like, 25 attacks, hitting on 4s, wounding on 5s, saving on 3s, does 5 wounds when it should do like 1.5. Cool. And then I fall back in the 1 and 18 to finish off the squad. So I can't tag your remaining gargoyles. Anyway.
Should have been better, dude.
Should have just rolled better, I guess. Yeah. It's a skill issue. Once again, the charge cucking me here is gonna be huge. So all the Gants will die, but not the character, which is unfortunate. And then Celeste gets in there as well. She's battle shocked right now, so she can't hold the objective. But when all those that one of the obliterators is on the objective, so he'll contest the objective against Death Leaper. He'll actually get Death Leaper's OC1, right?
I think
so. The obliterator will actually hold that objective, even though the Lord and the Celeste, who are still on the objective for me, are not. So
it's funny, having played him so much in 9th edition, he was the OG OC5 dude.
He was alien.
Yeah. It's very much a bummer that he doesn't really hold objectives anymore. But that's fine. He makes you battle shock instead, which is just as good.
It's way cooler.
It is for sure. Especially because I still have this battle shock threat projecting, because everyone's battle shocked here except this one unit. If they fail that test, I'd be a happy guy.
Yep. Man, so much fun how big of the swings those checks are.
But you're just losing because of how big this dude's brain is.
Yeah.
You're losing to getting big brain.
Super big
That's good Warhammer.
Big brain loan up.
Big brain loan up. Bulging out of his forehead. It's so big.
Yeah.
Sweet. We're checking here real technically on the movement with regards to if the other obliterators can actually get on the objective by
well, the one obliterator get in combat with you, while the other guy can get to the objective no matter what.
For sure.
But we slip a 50 in there. Dude has not plenty of room. He has room enough to get in there, and his buddy gets on the objective. So the obliterator will punch. He's not going to pack because his buddy on the objective is on 2 wounds and does not end up doing much to the Tyrant, unfortunately.
Yeah. I finally get my toughness back now that you killed all my stupid friends.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Sweet. Sweet. So here's where we realize that Lucas needs to charge in the Rhino. He charges in the Rhino. The gargoyles are going to pile in and fight and miraculously like kill a warp talon. Because this is what it's gonna be like 17 attacks. No, it's gonna be like 12 attacks.
No, I'm down to 3 guys. No, I'm down to 4, and then the 10-man squad kills a guy.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, I did a damage here because you took one from the spore mine earlier.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You did 1 damage.
So I did 1 damage with the crappy looking 20, whatever's left of the 20 man, and then I'll kill a whole dude with the 10 man. That was pretty silly.
Yes.
Yeah, because it should be like 5 hits, 2 wounds. Don't fail 2 3F saves. I mean, it's a failed 3F save above normal, but like it's definitely annoying.
Fuck you, Tom.
you failed 2 3F saves. I did the normal amount. I did everything right. You just rolled bad. That's your problem, not mine. I take no responsibility for this.
I will blame you regardless.
That's fine. The spore mine is the really funny one. I literally haven't even placed it yet, but the spore mine is going to be right here. And the thought process on that is to slow down any threats of an advance coming in this way because I'm scared. It also would prevent this nonsense from getting too close. I don't think that's real. Yeah, it's mostly just to prevent the warp talons from advancing. Make their charge at least a little bit harder. Oh, no, it's not for that. That's why. It's the spore mine is here to go to deploy a homer next turn. That's why it's there. So I knew I was forgetting something.
But we get 10 on secondaries this turn, and we're going to move into your turn.
Yeah,
I like them apples.
Sorry?
How do you like them apples?
I love them apples. Take a battle shock, Lucas.
I pass.
False.
Like unequivocally true.
Oh, I got a 10. Oh, did you fail this battle shock?
I failed one of them.
Yeah, you failed one. I don't know which one.
One of the two. I don't
One of the
remember.
two gets failed. So we're chilling. So we're getting a 10 on primer, which is great. If we get a 5 there, I'd feel pretty sketchy, but 10 keeps me at least a little bit in the lead here. Lucas is getting a 15 bottom 5. We're not stopping that. Like that's the reality of the situation here. So I really need to make sure that I get at least 10 every turn if I'm going to actually be ahead by a noticeable margin on primary. So that looks good. The 20 man's going to come back in a minute, and all we've got to do this turn, because this is turn 4, so we're really in the like home stretch, scrape out all the points that we can. Denying Lucas's secondaries is about to become basically impossible. Like he's going to get to do a bunch of stuff. If he can do it, he can do it. But like there's no nonsense here. But also like not a lot of the secondaries are coming up that I have to be worried about, right? He's already gone through capture enemy outpost. He's already gone through. You haven't done no prisoners. Have you done overwhelming force?
No, that was the one I never drew.
Oh, hilarious. But like we're not really in that position to be denying overwhelming force. It's really easy for him to get based on the fact that I need to deny his primary.
Just, like, move on. Yeah, you deny the primary and you do cleanse.
And do cleanse. Like it's way worth
kind
it.
Of what your army does.
Yeah, but because you've already gone through assassinate and capture enemy outpost, like there's not really a lot for me to deny it and bring it down. It's not really a lot for me to deny at this point. So we're just going to focus on getting our points. So we'll sprint up. I don't remember. I think I auto advanced the squad because I needed like a 2 or a 3. And I was like, no, we're not going to roll that. We're just going to auto advance, cleanse both of these, deploy a homer with a neurolictor. Deathy's going to run in and charge the Chaos Lord and eat his brains and get a command point for the privilege, which is great. Which love that. And then we're going to drop in the gargoyles. And this is where you got to see the future a little bit, because right now I don't need the gargoyles to do anything. They're not like, they don't have any particular important utility at the moment. All of my points are accounted for. No one needs move blocking. Everyone's already move blocked. It looks good. So they're going to show up right in here. I'm going to move Mama out to help deal with these guys. We're going to have the Pyrovore, and then Mama's going to go for like an 8-inch charge to hopefully kill them off. But the gargoyles are going to come in here with the intention that next turn they can auto advance 6 and just fly 18 onto both of these objectives, hold them both, cleanse them both, call it a day. Your Overwatch is going to be what it is, but like I don't really care because you don't have rerolls. So it's like you're not. Yeah, I need like 4 guys to touch both of these, and that feels pretty comfy. And, if stuff gets messy, we'll see what happens. But that's the thought process there. And we're basically just executing this stuff. I think this is Deathy eating that man for breakfast. Oh no, this is the Pyrovore shoots and kill the.
These are my Warp Talons struggling to not commit Toyota.
Knocks him down to a Warp Talon and a Warp Talon and a wound. We're gonna charge. I don't even know what's happening here. We're rolling dice.
You just shot your Neuro.
Oh no! I shot Mama at the Warp Talons.
Yeah.
She wasn't able to get any work done, or maybe she was. I think she actually may have been part of what got it. The Pyrovore may have done like a wound or killed a guy, and then she did a wound to this guy. Anyway, Pyrovore charges in, doesn't manage to do anything. Mama fails her charge. That's how it goes. It's an 8. Deathy goes in and kills that dude at 1 wound. Hey, we bumped it back into a better position. Funny. So he's down. I get a CP for the privilege, which is great. Hopefully I'll put that Spore Mine in there in a second. Pyrovore doesn't do any damage. That's how it goes. And yeah, that's kind of basically it. You're going to roll some attacks. We're still punching each other over here. Neuro Tyrant goes down, but he's not able to console because there's no one within 4, and he's outside of 3 of the objective mat. So that just kind of is what it is. Pyrovore, you get to hit the Pyrovore back. You don't kill him. Great. Cool. Seems good.
Yeah. Normal 3 on Homer, 4 on Cleanse.
Yep, standard turn. And we'll pass over to Lucas for bottom of 4. What are we drawing?
I draw Investigate, Area Denial, and Tempting Target. So Tyler tempts me with the Gargoyle objective in the bottom right. Yeah, I think that's the hardest one for me to accomplish.
Yep.
So if I could take that back and put a unit in the middle of the table, then I'll be good to go. Unfortunately, Celeste is battle shocked here, which means she won't count for area denial. So I'm going to have that the 2-man squad of obliterators charge and make their way out of the middle of the table.
There go the Warp Talons. Glorious. There go the Warp Talons.
Okay, the Warp Talons auto pass, then fallback, shoot, and charge, which is just wonderful. 2 CP, and then the Spore Mine rolls a 6, and then rolls a 3 on the D3 to kill the dude and his wounded buddy.
Let's go!
It's just awesome. That is so cool.
Oh man!
Frankly, what I probably should have done was just auto pass Celeste. Can she use the auto pass strat? Because she's an ally unit.
Yeah, she can.
She can't use the demon strats.
Correct. You don't have access to the demon strats because you don't have a demon detachment.
Okay.
It's the only reason that allies don't get strats.
Well, that was a bummer then. I should have probably auto-passed her just to guarantee that I got area denial, but I figured that given the number of non-battle shock units I have near the middle of the table here, I could have just done it by charging or whatnot. So moving the obliterators out here, they've already both used their indirect, so we've got to kind of line up our shots directly, and we're just going to let her rip into Death Leaper basically. And there's a few of these gargoyles left, so I'm just going to try to pick off the rest of the squad with Rhino plus Forge Beam plus other assorted shots. And the Turbigon's kind of chomping up a little bit, but considering we're going into turn 5, I don't think she's very important. I'm not going to shoot at her at all.
Yeah, I've got a gargoyle with a foot on the objective. She's on the objective.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
We're going to try to also have these chosen launch in, kill this Neurolictor, and then charge or then tag the Biovore, because the Biovore can't create mines when it's in combat, right?
Yep.
Gotcha. So yeah, that's the goal there, is to try to prevent Mr. Biovore from doing his score mine thing in the last turn. So just some random pot shots going in at the Neurolictor, and then I do my second oopsie blood surge of the night, where I decide that 5 chosen with a Lord need the extra pistol shots to kill 15 Gants and kill 3 of them, and then Blood Surge immediately loses me the game on the spot, which is just so incredibly cool.
I will say, the Blood Surge did not lose you the game on the spot. You rolling a boxcars in the following charge lost you the game on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't need to do any of that.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, for me to actually get area denial out of that charge would have required a very particular number. I think I needed to roll exactly an 8.
Oh, okay.
Because as soon as the other guy has the ability to base you, then he gets within 4 of a model that like he gets within 4 of one of these guys back here, so he can no longer consolidate toward this objective. He would have had to get in combat with those guys. And my thinking was, you know, we'll see actually where these guys end up in a minute, but my thinking was, you know, if I can kill enough of the Gants that the Chosen can finish them off, but what you'll do is just pull both the Chosen squads out of combat. And I was thinking maybe I'll get lucky and the models that you will pull to make sure the Chosen aren't in combat will be the same models that are preventing me from going back toward this objective, but that wasn't actually the case, unfortunately. So, yeah, just like, I think this is actually the Chosen. Yeah. Oh, no, that's the remainder of the Gargoyles and Death Leaper just going bye-bye.
Yeah, this was the spot where you killed these 7 dudes like to the model. And if you had left like 2 alive, they surge into the Rhino, and then I'm a very happy camper. But no such luck.
Yeah, I mean, with the Rhino shooting, and then also
the Rhino doesn't get to shoot. Yeah,
tank shop and stuff. And I still have OC. Like the Forge Fiend is 3 in the Rhinos too. So
valid. Okay,
I figured it was fairly safe. I mean, like there was definitely, it could have been really sketchy, but
yeah. So there go the dudes, and here comes the surge, and I roll a 4, and up here is the crazy part, because the way that this works again is the closest unit has to end as close as possible. So whichever one of these 3 units it is, I don't know if it's the measurement gets awkward because it's not really clear if it's these guys or these guys or these guys, because all they are just like outside of an inch. And like we agree that they're outside of an inch. We don't get fussy about it. It's one of the 3 of them. I'm basing all 3 of them now. Or it could, actually, I think these guys I was within 5, so I didn't have enough to base. But it was one of these 2. I'm basing both of them now, so it doesn't really matter.
So
everyone else goes wherever. Exactly. So all 3 of these units are stuck now. Oh, which means that this Neurolictor and by extension this Biovore are safe. And yeah. Lucas sends in the Oblitz.
Which they're now just outside of here. Give me the thing.
Oh, yeah.
They're now like just barely out. 6 inches is like right there. So unfortunately, they're not going to be able to be in the middle for the purposes of area denial. And once these obliterators swing in, Tyler can choose which models to pull, right? So he'll leave people that are within 4 inches here so that my obliterators can't consolidate this way. And he'll leave those same models there. Like, Billy, basically this term again is the problem, right? Because he's not in combat with the Chosen, and he's within 4 inches of the obliterators. So there's no way for me to ensure that I kill the squad and get area denial. What I probably should have just done was just accepted my losses and activated the Chosen, so you couldn't get 5 points on the primary.
You can't.
Why?
The obliterator's charged.
I should have not charged.
Oh, not charged the obliterators. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And just accepted that, you know, because I killed like 5 of those Gants, and now there's 10 of them left. So the 5 Chosen should absolutely kill the 10 Gants.
Probably. Yeah.
At which point, you know, actually, I'm wondering if this distance is like less than 9. Probably not. Because you would have gotten to activate first. You would have just based all these guys.
It's the whole unit, right? So it's also got to be this guy.
Yeah, but he'll actually get to move 3. This guy won't get to move because you'll base him right away.
Gotcha. You're just talking about just a console.
Yeah, because if I got to activate first, this guy could have gone there, and then this guy could have gone there. This guy could have gone this way, and I would have actually maybe been able to get air denial. But
you don't activate first, though. I do.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Gotcha. So you would have just based this guy and made that impossible. So this distance would have. I mean, given that this isn't within 6, I doubt that this is within 9.
Mm-hmm.
So just things to think about for the future, I guess.
Totally.
So what I probably should have done was just accepted my losses and that I made a mistake, but I was like kind of tilted from that. So like I just decided to charge, which was stupid. But like activating the Chosen probably would have killed those guys and denied the 5 points, and then I would have just got area denial the next turn.
Yeah.
So well.
Does that swing the game? It's just 5 points of primary, right?
I mean, if I don't make the mistake at all, it would have been 5 points of primary and.
I mean the cut your losses version of this.
It just would have been 5.
It just cuts it to a 10-10 instead of an 11-9. Because I got you by 6, I think.
Probably. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that changes any of my secondaries.
No, I don't think so. Because the only thing you didn't get was area denial because you chucked signals. And then, well, admittedly, yeah, because then you get area denial next turn, which you did anyway because you kept it. Yeah.
Yeah. I figure like, you know, it could have been cool to like discard area denial and get a CP, but I didn't really need CP to accomplish the things I needed to at this point.
Totally.
So I probably would have. I figured it was just better to keep the 5 because nothing remaining in my deck is going to get me more than 5 points.
Cool. Here we just realized that when I brought this 20-man back, I didn't bring the full 20-man back because I'm really intelligent. I was like, wait a sec, you killed 5 dudes and there's 8 left. What happened? Organize your casualties, kids. So we got that fixed. Made sure that they were brought back in a way where they wouldn't have changed who had line of sight where, because Lucas had plenty of line of sight coming down this way and none going that way. Yep, the Oblits go ahead and swing, and they kill the wrong number. This is definitely one of those cases where good old-fashioned 8th edition pillow fisting would have been real nice. But so we're still... we leave this guy who's out of coherency from here even, just to make sure that, like Lucas said, he can't actually console this way, but we're no longer in combat with the Chosen, so it's just going to be the Rhino that gets to bump us. The Rhino doesn't do anything. This guy dies to coherency. I've got 3 dudes with OC2 each on an objective. I'm going to auto-pass them because I haven't burned that yet, and that's mine. Which feels real great.
Those guys were if I had 1 CP, I could have real hits and wounds there. I'd probably just killed you.
Totally plausible.
Or if the Rhino
how many attacks do your dudes have?
4.
Is it 8? Oh, the Rhino might have cleaned it up. Yeah.
Yeah, because they also have exploding 6s.
Oh, I forgot about the explosions. Yeah.
So it's like 9. It's basically 9 dead, and I think you were like 10 or 11 at that point.
Something like that. Yeah.
So and all I need is, if there's one guy on the objective, then my Rhino still contests it. So.
Exactly.
Either way, things to learn for the future.
Definitely.
So I get a 5 on tempting here, but I don't get my 5 on area denial. And then Tyler's last turn is pretty simple. It's just getting the secondary points that he's been getting all game, right?
Yeah,
Going out there, fire and fading, or just
not fire and fading, just auto advancing 6. Yeah.
To get cleanse, and then the Neurolictor deploys his 5th homer like a Chad. Or I guess it's his 4th homer because the Pyroboar did it on turn 1.
Yep.
Nice. And that's the end of the game, because the last thing I'll do is just pick up a secondary that'll score me 5 points. I've got 3 draws at it, so I get no prisoners, and it's easy for me to get 5 kills, right?
Yeah, I don't think we just shake hands here. Don't even bother, because I don't know. Can 2 Obliterators and 5 Chosen kill a squad of Gargoyles? Can 5 Chosen and a Lord kill a Neurolictor and a Biobor?
And can 2 Forge Fiends kill a 10 wound? I guess I don't know.
They don't even need to. These 2 things are dead.
No, true that.
Yeah,
I'll just.
Also, the 3 Termagants over here fall back.
Oh yeah,
Forge Fiends.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, this is super done. Cool. So at the end of the day, final score, we're talking 40 points of primary for the Nids, 35 for the Chaos Space Marines, 18 on Cleanse and 16 on Homer for 34 secondary total. A variety of points for 33 in total to Lucas. Final score is 84-78. That's an 11-9. Good game, brother.
Gee, dude.
Man, this is a wild matchup for both of us. I don't think either of us like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a learning curve, right? Yeah. I've never played into Blood Surge the army, or not never played into it, right? But it's a whole new set of skills you need to learn. When you're adjusting between playing a shooting army versus playing against a melee army versus playing against a pressure army, there's lots of different things you need to. There's a different paradigm of how you need to approach the game, and that's the same thing with the Swarm. But I don't think even other Horde armies Sons and Guns from 8th edition operated in this way, right? Where they're just the level of move block, because it doesn't really do any damage to you. Sons and Guns actually could table you. Yeah. Whereas this, it doesn't try to do damage to you. It just tries to perma stall the game. Exactly. So it's playing a completely different game. I wouldn't say that I don't like it, or I'm not a fan of the matchup. I think it's interesting. It's a completely different way to play that I'm just not used to yet.
Sure. I just mean in terms of who is favored here.
This matchup?
I don't think either of us put this on a pairing matrix as this is a good matchup.
I think it's super flipping.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you there's a couple of interactions where if a big Blood Surge happens, like we saw, it could be a 10 or 15 point swing. Yeah. Also just the classic flip example of whoever goes first. If I go first, I'm on all 3 of the midfields. Yep. And Cleanse is immediately way sketchier. Mm-hmm. Whereas if Tyler goes first, what happens? What happened to me this game is what happens every time, where I'm move blocked into eternity, basically. So definitely could have done a lot of Blood Surge things differently, but it's a flippy matchup. It's sketchy.
Yeah, simultaneously, there's a whole bunch of the minutia in the setup of all the different play patterns for the Horde that I have not figured out yet. Yeah. I disrespected Lucas's damage way too hard on the Forge Fiends. Mm-hmm. I figured I
thought it was going to be a lot worse with that Abaddon, but
yeah, we both did. We were wrong. They're still terrifying. Also,
they're a lot flippier, yes. Right? Because there's no rerolls. You're prone to just rolling way too many 1s, 2s, and 3s.
Totally. Also, with the player place as opposed to the GW, there's a lot more long sight lines. This is just not a thing that exists on fixed boards.
Yeah. This Forge Fiend basically got to shoot anywhere all game other than the mid objective. But like all my forge fiends shot every turn, and you know,
Yeah, I think this army behaves a lot better on fixed fixed terrain sets. I think it also behaves a lot better when we both have to deal with the objectives are in the open instead we both get to deal with them being closed. Because if your stuff's in the open, I can eventually whittle it down or just go stand there. Whereas if my stuff doesn't even have to be in the open. Like I can either use lone ops or silly movement tricks and whatnot to scam primary that way, or just apply enough pressure that you can't get to me in the first place. So. Lots of things to think about. Very excited to be playing this Swarm some more. Hopefully the next time you see it on camera, everything will be nicely painted. It'll be great. But yeah, good stuff. You sticking with CSM for a while, Lucas?
I'm going to keep playing them for sure. Ongoing hobby projects and all that, but going to be playing some more CK as well. So expect them on the channel as well.
Hell yeah. Rock and roll, brother. Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I've been Tyler.
I've been Lucas.
And we'll catch you next time. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye, gamers.